So at time of filming, I've been ruffling a few feathers on the channel. And it's not that I relish doing it, but it comes with the territory that sadly, or not so sadly, I've got to do it from time to time. This channel, it is built up on being a safe space and sharing gnosis and sharing our beliefs and agreeing to disagree where appropriate. But at times, things slip through the net, let's say. I've been vocal about sharing my journey on my channel since the start I have. And I have evolved. I mean, if you look through my videos, you can see I've changed. And I've recently gone through a path working called the Qliphothe. If you are part of the left-hand path, part of Western occultism, then you'll know what that is. It is the Sitra Ara, the dark side of the tree of life. It is the tree of death, the Qliphothe. Sephiroth is the tree of life. And it's something that's found within Kabbalah. Now, at time of filming, I got a lovely comment, that's sarcasm, of someone basically in so many words calling me anti-Semitic, saying that I am ignorant and I'm not respecting Jewish voices, that I'm partaking in a closed practice, blah, 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 blah. That sort of rhetoric. And I just blocked this person because it was actually not the first time they've commented, and they've tried to tear me down before. It is what it is. Don't feed the trolls. But they are so misinformed and ill-informed, because Kabbalah is not just part of Jewish mysticism. And the form of Kabbalah that I practice isn't Jewish mysticism. Let me explain. And this is to try and help people as well understand what Kabbalah is and the differences, okay? So let's get into it. Right, so I'll just quickly say, my name's Sarah, that divination witch. This channel, like I say, it is a community safe space. We don't judge. If you want to join, hit subscribe. And if you want to support me in the channel, all of my links are below, and I'd be so grateful if you could check it out. I do readings, I teach things, I've got Patreon, I've got a shop, we've got all sorts going on, and I'm doing my own path working on Patreon, so I'd be grateful if you could check it out. Thanks. First and foremost, for the most basic way of explaining the differences between, the two. There's two versions of Kabbalah, basically. There's Kabbalah with a K, Kabbalah with a Q. And both variants have different ways of spelling the damn thing. But ultimately, and usually, depending on the spelling, Kabbalah with a K and Kabbalah with a Q is what I'm focusing on. As an addendum, there's a Kabbalah with a C. Had to be the awkward one there. But all of these schools of thought, they are interconnected, but they are not the same. So Kabbalah, typically, and I've said it myself as well, typically it does start from Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah with a K. It was basically the concept of the Jewish Kabbalah is the tree of life, the diagram. I'll put it on the screen, please remember, Sarah. But the concept of this diagram is for the Jewish mystic to explore God. It is that God isn't, it's that we as humans are not whole, and the different spheres that you go through on the tree of life are different emanations, aka different reflections of God. And so you aim to explore your religion, your belief, go up the tree. Doing this, you would be referencing religious texts like the Torah, going through religious thing because it's heavily linked with Jewish religion, to find God, to be closer to God within Jewish religion. And that in itself is part of Jewish mysticism and Judaism in general. Regardless of the denomination of Judaism, you have to be initiated into it. Therefore, Jewish mysticism, you could argue, is a closed practice in that regard. So if I was not initiated and deciding, let's do this and go through the Torah and whatever, just deciding to do that, then that's totally not appropriate. No, it's not. I can't stop people doing it though, who are doing that, but for me, it wouldn't sit right. It's not my jam. It's not for me to do, So, that's Kabbalah with a K. And arguably people normally say Kabbalah originates there, but there's some debate on that actually. And I didn't quite realise there was a debate. But we'll go into the other forms. So the Kabbalah with a C, just to say, is Christian Kabbalah. Same but different. You're using Christian teachings to do the same sort of thing. Okay? So unless you're a Christian, that's not really going to be for you, is it? Kabbalah with a Q is a different kettle of fish. And that is what I have been exploring. The Cliff-Oth as an extra to that, okay? Kabbalah with a Q is Hermetic Qabbalah, Hermetic philosophy and Hermetic principles. You may have heard of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which was a secret society at one point, a secret order. It's not secret anymore. But it was for the longest time. You had to be initiated into the order, blah, blah, blah. You've probably heard of that, right? But that's not all Hermeticism is. Hermeticism is a thought, a philosophy that has spanned hundreds of years. It's been around for a very, very long time. It's above even my mind at the minute. It's very intellectual to me, anyways. There'll be other people on YouTube who can explain it better than me, what Hermeticism actually is, to that extent, But to me, Hermeticism and what I've learned so far and what I've explored through my journey is an amalgamation of different teachings. And it's like, to be honest, Hermes Trismegistus, who is the figurehead of the Hermeticism of the movement, he is an amalgamation of Thoth and Hermes together. He is like represented, if you look him up, like a wizard looking guy, and he really is the magician in tarot. He really is a sage, and that's what I feel when I learn about Hermeticism in all its varieties. When I've got Israel Regardie's book on the Golden Dawn. It's the biggest book I own, I think. I just feel like some wise sage, like I'm learning from Merlin or something. That's what it feels like, okay, for me as a basic woman to understand this, right? And that's not to say, sorry, that wasn't me getting at women. I just want to say that, okay? That's just me. I'm a humble person from the north of England. I call a spade a spade. That's me, all right? I'm not a boffin, okay? But I'm not thick. That's what I'm trying to say. That wasn't me getting at women, right? So it mixes things like alchemy, Neoplatism, like all sorts of different things, mysticism. And when Hermetic Qabbalah was conceived, it was in the 1500s, which I've explained on the channel before. At the same time, the Jewish Kabbalah was. Now, the key difference here is that Hermeticism and Hermetic Qabbalah isn't really exploring a religion like the Jewish mystics did. It is not exploring the concept of one God. Well, it kind of is and isn't. It's not. It's a universal power, but it's not like tied to the Torah or the Bible or whatever. It's not tied to a religion. It's exploring different concepts to do with alchemy and to do with like symbolism in different things, the structure of the universe, and that's what it is. If you look at the tree, it is planetary magic. It is working through the concept of what makes us human, what makes us us, and what makes the earth and life. And it's deep thought. And it's based a lot on like Gnostic teachings as well, and like thinking outside the box and like, I guess, escaping the matrix in a way. And it doesn't follow one religion, okay? And there is this argument that it came around the same time as the Jewish mystics did, because there was a lot at that time, 1500s, people weren't gatekeeping like they are now in a way. I mean, it's fair enough to gatekeep a closed practice, of course, but you know what I mean? There was a lot of shared thought between these people and these movements, and a lot of commonalities. And yeah, if you look it up, you'll see there's a debate. Ultimately, I do say, look, yeah, it was part of Jewish mysticism. And as me, who works with Lilith, and I've done a video about Lilith being closed or not, because I got crap for that too. Yeah, it's complex. It's a grey area. But this is not closed, okay? So this is the best way I can explain it in the most basic of terms for anyone to understand. There is a difference between Kabbalah with a K and Kabbalah with a Q, and Hermetic Qabbalah with a Q. It's for anyone. Now, the person I remember in the comment, because I just deleted it, to be honest, and blocked them, but they were snarking at me because I referenced 2 books that helped me during my Qliphoth journey. One by Oliver St. John, one by Thomas Carlson. Oliver St. John is an occultist who is from, the way I'll word it, is the family tree of Crawley, from that lineage of understanding. Thomas Carlson is a Swedish occultist who formed Dragon Rouge, and he's probably one of the least problematic modern day occultists I've came across, if I'm honest. He seems chill. I don't know him. I mentioned that in the video, but I like his vibe, what he comes across like in his text, okay? Now, his book, Thomas Carlson specifically, given he's Swedish and has a Norse background, and he's got books on the runes and stuff I've mentioned as well, if you actually read that book, and when he's talking about going through the different spheres and what they represent and what they expect and things, he is not referencing angels and things like this. He actually references Odin. He references other deities, hell. He doesn't just reference like one pantheon, because this is the foundation of Hermeticism in general. Now, that's a left-hand path practice, the Qliphoth. That's an addition to Hermetic Qabbalah, let's say, but it's still, the roots of it is still Hermetic Qabbalah, and that just goes to show that book, because like I say, I got shit because it wasn't Jewish writers and all this. This person clearly doesn't know what they're on about. He certainly isn't a Jewish writer. He's a Swedish guy, and he goes to show it's above religion. It's above such concepts. It's just hard to put it all into words, but it is. It's above it all. It's what makes us us. It's the fabric of reality. That's what it is. Now, the whole concept of Qliphoth, I've explained this a million times on the channel, but I'll explain it again. With Kabbalah, you've got the Tree of Life, and the same in Jewish Kabbalah, by the way, all of it. You've got the Tree of Life, and the Jewish Kabbalah called the Tree of Death the Sitra Ara. And it was Crawley that started to explore that, because, let's be honest, he liked to be controversial and push boundaries, didn't he? Let's just say it like that. So he started to explore the shadow side, the Tree of Death, the husks of the tree, the clephas, which, it is mixed in with Hebrew. I mean, Lilith does come from Judaism, and I keep mentioning Lilith because, this version of Lilith, I'll say, but she is the Qliphoth, because the Qliphoth is the shadow, it is the feminine, it is the Tree of Death. And Crawley started looking at it, and he was the one who came up with different demon names to rule over each sphere. And then his predecessor, Kenneth Grant, came up with the tunnels of Set and all of that. And then the rest is history. We snowballed from there. So Qliphothic work is relatively new in the grand scheme of things, and it is an offshoot of Hermetic Qabbalah. Now, if you are interested in Hermetic Qabbalah and not specifically the Cliffoth, if you want to learn more about it, Dion Fortune, get her book. It's been reprinted a million times. That is the OG lady who spoke on this. I've got a copy of it. Hear it from the horse's mouth. She was part of the Golden Dawn, well, an offshoot of the Golden Dawn. She was very knowledgeable, very, very knowledgeable. She knew her stuff. So that's like the OG. Oliver St. John does have a really good book on the Tree of Life as well. A course in Hermetic Qabbalah, I think it's called. I've heard good things about the Chicken Cabala as well, but I don't have that one. But if you want to look into it, before jumping to these conclusions, guys, just bloody Google it. Like literally, Kabbalah versus Kabbalah, you know? K Kabbalah versus Q Kabbalah. We're in the age of technology. Instead of jumping down someone's throat and being all righteous, use the technology at your fingertips and Google it. And then you won't look like you've got egg on your face. But I digress. I don't care in a way what people think of me. I do to an extent. Yes, I've still got a human ego and, I'm not an asshole. I respect everyone, each their own, whatever. I'm not a racist or anti-Semite or whatever you want to call me. I'm not. I'm absolutely not. I'm very much live and let live. That's the way I am, and I'm not going to shit on someone else's beliefs. I'm not going to have people say that about me. So think what you want about me, but that's one thing I'm definitely not, is someone who discriminates against others in that way. Because I've been discriminated against in my life plenty. And I'm not going to do it to someone else. Okay, so I hope that helped. If you want to know more about it, let me know. Put it in the comments. If you've got anything to add, feel free. You don't have to agree. Just be civil. Don't be a dick. We don't tolerate that here, and I'll just block you. Simples. All right. Until next time, stay safe, stay witchy, and go check out the channel for other content. Bye.